All right, it's time for another episode of Saturdaze with Mcvay and Jay. It's episode 13, November 9th, 2024. All right, welcome everybody to this edition of Saturdays with Mcvay and Jay. It's episode unlucky 13 for Saturday, November 9th, 2024. And Scott, we're in black tonight.
Yeah, not just any black. I'm wearing a Celtic Thunder Legacy t-shirt. They came to Kansas a few years ago, and of course, being someone who likes to go collect a t-shirt at every concert I do go, which is not that many, I still have to get this shirt. There you go.
There you go. And I'm wearing the Brooklyn Nets black shirt, polo shirt that I got with all these like white, like little things running through.
Yeah, nice stripes.
Yeah, well, it's more like the seams of a shirt that's kind of like that kind of style.
Okay, good.
Put it in there, but the B, of course, is for the Brooklyn basketball team that was the New Jersey Nets at one time. Now became the Brooklyn Nets in 2009, playing at Barclays Center.
That's true. There you go.
And I don't think I've ever worn this shirt any other time I can recall. So I thought it would be a very fitting, since we were picking black tonight. I feel like we're going to a funeral,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this is 13th episode already. Whew.
Oh, yeah. Let's hope no one has triskaidekaphobia.
Oh, right. That's for sure.
13. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, the only way you get over the fear of triskaidekaphobia is to get one of those dodecahedrons.
Yeah. Roll the 12 and just leave out the 13.
Right. And get a three-dimensional figure with 12 faces. That's your dodecahedron. It was funny because they interviewed a whole group of people, like the man on the street. And they said, "What is a dodecahedron?" And this dude, he comes up and he says, "Dodecahedron. That sounds something like a donut shop that just somebody put together."
I wouldn't mind that,
All right.
Yeah, I'll step in. Let's forget Dunkin' Donuts. Let's go to dodecahedrons.
That's right. The best donuts in the county is the dodecahedron, and they actually have a dodecahedron. I seen it one time. It looks so big.
They are
made a chocolate out of it.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh,
very nice
thing, and I think it was about $40-$50 worth of milk.
I believe it though for that large, yeah.
Well, nowadays, they can make anything they want out of milk chocolate. I've gone to Peterbrook Chocolatier here in Winter Park, and that's not too far from me.
Oh yeah,
and they have the whole chocolate thing, and the chocolatiers, you can see them through the window. Man, they'll just make about anything and everything you could possibly think of, even chocolate bugs.
I agree, because I've seen crazy YouTube videos and such like that of how interesting they can make sculptures out of nothing but chocolate. It's really amazing sometimes.
Yep. And if you're in the football season, they can make chocolate footballs. They even have a chocolate pizza where it's a pizza entirely made out of chocolate. And they even put it in a box that looks like a pizza box.
Yay, I like that idea.
Their staple, though, is chocolate-covered popcorn.
Well, I can believe that. Yeah, that is actually really good. Now, I've had some where it might not be completely covered in chocolate, but I've had it with the drizzles. Oh, that's
the one. They pop the popcorn like an old-fashioned popcorn machine, and then they'll drizzle it with the chocolate. You could do it in milk chocolate, dark chocolate, and they give out free samples of it. But you like bacon, right?
Oh yes, I do.
Listen, well, they have chocolate-covered bacon.
Yes,
that is so good.
A combination of the salty with the sweet. It's perfect, actually.
That's right. And I said, well, what kind of bacon do you use? They say the center cut with a very little fat on it.
Good. That way you don't want to have too much of a flab and bad taste on that there. You
Exactly.
want pure meat.
Yeah, they cook it really crispy, and then they'll drizzle it in milk or dark chocolate, and they actually do sugar-free too.
That's good. I like that.
So they cater to all of those people who are diabetics who still want a taste of the chocolate. But they say their dark chocolate is about their biggest seller because of the antioxidants.
I can believe it, though. There you go.
Chocolate is like just, I don't know. It's just a staple in some people's lives.
It is amazing. I'll say that.
Yep. All right. So, do you want to start off with your first article, or do you want to jump right to the news of the weird?
Let's do an article first. I'll do one article now, and then I'll do another one before we continue and all that there as well. So
all right.
Let me bring that one up here for us. Okay, you're going to like this first one here. And this one here, actually, I'm surprised it came back to this way, but I'll put it on right now. It's been said that the ruby slippers from the movie The Wizard of Oz are for sale nearly 2 decades after they were stolen. That's right, folks. This was listed just a couple days ago, according to the Associated Press. In Dallas, a pair of ruby slippers worn by Judy Garland in the movie The Wizard of Oz is finally on the auction block nearly 2 decades after a thief stole the iconic shoes when they were convinced that they were adorned with real jewelry. But if you can tell in this picture, that's not real jewels. That's sequins.
That's definitely sequins. If you can't tell the difference between the two, you're really gotta.
There you go. It says it says online bidding has started. It will go from now till the December 7th. Heritage Auctions in Dallas has announced in a news release on Monday. They received the sequin and bead bedazzled slippers from Michael Shaw, the memorabilia collector who originally owned the footwear at the heart of the beloved 1939 musical. Shaw had loaned the shoes in 2005 to the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. However, that summer, someone smashed the display case and stole the slippers. Whereabouts remained a mystery until the FBI finally got them recovered in 2018. Now, the museum is among those vying to get the slippers back, or just the collectors, which were one of the several pairs that Garland wore during the filming. And there's only 4 pairs that now remain in captivity out there in the world. They say that the Grand Rapids raised the money for the slippers on its annual Judy Garland Festival, and the funds will supplement the $100,000 set aside this year by Minnesota lawmakers to purchase the slippers. Now, the man who stole the slippers, a man named Terry John Martin, was 76 at the time when he was sentenced in January to time served because of his poor health. He admitted to using a hammer to smash the glass of the museum's door and display case in what his attorney said was an attempt to pull off, quote, one last score. After an old associate with connections to the mob told him the shoes had to be adorned with real jewels to justify their $1 million insured value. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Well, at least the auction, the movie memorabilia, will also include other items from The Wizard of Oz. This includes the hat worn by Margaret Hamilton's Wicked Witch of the West and the screen door from Dorothy's Kansas home.
Wow.
Kind of neat if you think about it. There you go.
Yeah, but all that to risk your health at 76 years of age. I mean, come on. Now you're going to be spending time behind bars and. Yeah,
but like I said, someone convinced this old man here that there really were jewels on their shoes, in which we found out, nope, that just looked like jewels.
I don't know what possesses a man of that caliber to just go crazy and just be a total twat, for that matter.
Sometimes greed, sometimes it's just because someone wants you to do it on a dare they thought it was funny. I don't know.
Yeah, right? Okay, well, let's go ahead and look at the news of the weird. That was from last Friday, and that was, of course, on November 1st.
Yep.
So, of course, all of our goodies come from, of course, the editors at Andrews McMeel Syndication for YouExpress.com. We must give credit to where credit is due.
Yes, we do.
Yep. And the lead story for this last week's, actually, because the new ones are going to be coming out as of the recording. We all record on Thursday, but they'll be coming out every November 8th. So we'll have November 8th next week. The lead story is the Litigious Society, and I think you started last week, so I'll go first this time, right?
Go for it.
Okay. So the Colorado Supreme Court in Boulder was the setting on October 24th for a showdown between justices and 5 elephants.
Elephants. Oh, gosh.
Well, the Associated Press reported that the elephants, Missy, Kimba, Lucky, Lulu, and Jambo, not Jumbo, Jambo, they live at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo in Colorado Springs, but the Non-Human Rights Project believes the pachyderms should be able to dispute their detention there because they were born in the wild in Africa and are now showing signs of brain damage, such as rocking, which signals distress.
Oh, no.
The organization wants them to be moved to an accredited elephant sanctuary. And the justices were moved by the story, but skeptical. How do I know when it stops? Well, asked Justice Melissa Hart, who was worried about pet emancipation. The Sioux's attorney wasn't having it. This court, no court, is the proper venue for what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. And let's just be honest. Do you really want these animals to go free when they're showing dementia? Yeah, right.
I never saw or met an elephant that ever had dementia because elephants are the most intelligent animal in the entire world.
That's one thing. Yes.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
Scott. Continuing.
Yeah, the continuing crisis. Here we go. Well, there's a metaphor for our times, and here somewhere. In the wee hours of October 21st, 39-year-old Adam Sutson showed up at his mother's house in North Liberty, Iowa. The Smoking Gun reported this. Sutson, whose rap sheet is lengthy, was allegedly intoxicated and yelled at his mother while destroying property inside the house, police said. Then shoved her to the ground. She was able to move to a recliner chair where Sutson approached her with a 3-by-5-foot American flag they had stolen from a nearby home. Twisting the flag into a rope, Sutson began choking her while threatening to kill her. She fell to the floor, and Sutson continued strangling her until her boyfriend tried to intervene.
Wow.
The mother said her 6'3", 230-pound son was, quote, capable of killing her and used a lot of force while strangling her. Sutson was charged with assault with intent to inflict serious injury and harassment and held on only $30,000. And I say only because I think that should have been at least
1,000,
10, 20 times that. Seriously.
100,000 would have made more sense.
Yeah, I was thinking 300 to 600. There you go.
Yeah. Well, that definitely sounds like one of those things you see on a soap opera, you know?
Sounds like, or basically one of those slasher movies. Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why they call it the continuing crisis. Yep.
There it is.
All right.
Okay.
Yep. Well, when Joshua Darian and his wife, Kima Miller, bought a coffee shop in Opelika, Alabama, if I'm not pronouncing that right.
That's right, Opelika.
Opelika, Alabama in early 2023. They might not have expected to experience paranormal phenomena, but the soldier ghost who frequents the place didn't know that. Metro News reported that Darian hears rustling noises from the back office when he's in the shop alone. And on September 24th, the barista saw a soldier walking toward them before disappearing. Whoa. Darian believes the shop is haunted by someone who died in the Civil War. I have seen unexplained boot prints on the floor, he said. Nobody in our shop has ever worn combat boots. And Darian looked back into the town's history and found that many soldiers lost their lives in a raid on Confederate supply depots there. Luckily, nothing has presented itself as threatening towards us, Darian said.
Oh, that's good, though.
Wow. I wonder how he gets through an 8-hour sleep. That's what I'm wondering.
That's what I'm wondering, too. Well, I think there's a second ghost story here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can get this one. English Heritage, that's a charity that oversees many historic properties, revealed that Gainsborough Old Hall in Lincolnshire, England, houses a staggering array of witches' marks and curses carved into the walls. Now, the Guardian paper reported on October 29th that volunteer Rick Berry found and mapped about 20 ritual protection marks believed to repel evil. Barry also discovered daisy wheels and hexafoils, thought to trap demons, and overlapping letter V's, which called on the Virgin Mary for protection. The old hall has undoubtedly had a tumultuous past, said Kevin Booth, the English Heritage's lead head of collections. Why it's the scene of quite such a high concentration of protective carvings remains a mystery.
No, the mystery, yes.
Maybe there were real needs. Of course, keep in mind, we're talking about old England, so I wouldn't be surprised if sometime during the Middle Ages or somewhere like that, or the late 1600s, when there was news of witch hunts over in the Americas at Salem, Massachusetts, I wouldn't be surprised if someone got spooked and said, okay, I'm protecting the whole store. I don't care.
And the thing about the overlapping V's reminds me of that show V
for Vendetta, yeah.
That was
that other show, yeah, the one with the lizard people. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I was thinking V for Vendetta at first, but
no, that was a movie, but the V series, V the series, that one title.
Yeah, I remember that now though. That was good.
Yeah. Never watched it, but I thought it was. Series. Yeah, I thought it was on Sci-Fi. Cool.
Yeah, of course it used to be on NBC way back in the 80s, so that tells you right there.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. Now for the latest religious message. Attendees of the Luca Comics and Games Conference in Italy this week are getting a first look at the new mascot for the Vatican's 2025 Jubilee, the Catholic News Agency reported. And the church declares a Jubilee, or a year of grace and pilgrimage, every 10 to 50 years.
Okay.
This year's new addition is Lucy, or Lucy, or Luce. I guess.
One of the two.
Yeah, cartoon figure a la Olympics mascots, who the church hopes will help engage with the pop culture so beloved by our young people. Luce, which means light. Oh, it is loose. Okay. In Italian, like lutz, like loose.
Yeah, lumos, yeah.
Yeah, and her pilgrim friends are promoting the theme of hope, which is more central than ever to the evangelical message, said Archbishop Rino Fisciella.
Yeah, that's not so bad. Of course, like I said, when you said, of course, when you had that loose, I was hoping that's not Luce, as in
or Lucifer.
Yeah, as in our Joker's wild evil
Lucy.
Mascot. Yeah, Lucy the devil. Yeah.
Yep. No, or Lucifer. Boy, that would have been pretty.
That would be scary. That would be kind of confusing too. There you go.
Yep.
I got a question, but why? Well, Mary Kay Bauer, age 42, of St. Paul, Minnesota, was arrested on October 19th for rustling and livestock theft, which is, of course, a felony. The Minneapolis Star Tribune reported. Officers were alerted to Bauer when she and a man were seen walking a sheep and a dog on leashes. Bauer told them that she purchased the sheep for $200, but her companion ratted her out. He says she stepped over a farm fence, put a leash on the sheep, and pulled it out through the fence. When police checked with the farm owner, they found out that Bauer had not paid for the animal, a breeding hare ram worth about $500. Bauer's tattoo might have given her away. She has a sheep inked on her left cheek.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when I didn't know sheep are going for $200 these days. I thought they were worth at least $1,000.
Well, this one said 500, so that's not so bad.
But she said she purchased it for 200 up here.
Yeah. I remember she was lying.
Oh, okay. So she was trying to swindle 300, huh?
Or maybe more.
Yeah. Well, here's a whoops. On October 24th, emergency officials in Stoughton, Wisconsin. Yes, Stoughton. They contacted the county public health agency after transporting 5 people with possible foodborne illness exposure. The New York Times reported the common denominator, famous Yeti's pizza. But it wasn't tainted onions or bad cheese that sickened patrons. October 22nd, a worker at Yeti's ran out of oil while making pizzas, so he visited a shared industrial kitchen nearby. The oil he grabbed was from food-grade hemp.
Oh no.
They contain Delta 9 cannabis or THC.
Oh no.
The active ingredient, of course, marijuana.
Oh, where's your sound button for that one?
I win, right? Oh yeah, I got a full screen, but yeah, yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Smoke weed every day.
There we go.
Right, yeah. But like he says, the oil can be used to make everything from cookies to condiments. The health department said famous Yetis served 60 contaminated pizzas, prompting dozens of reports of sickness. The restaurant closed for deep cleaning on October 25th.
I think this is a lesson where you need to read the label of the oil you want to use.
Also, don't be in a hurry to grab just any kind of oil on the shelf. You know what I mean?
Exactly. There you
That's
go.
it. Okay, it's creme de la weird time.
Yep. A 107-year-old Chinese woman named Chen has become a social media star, the New York Post reported back on October 29th, because of an unusual facial feature.
I saw this.
Yeah, a 4-inch long horn growing out of her forehead. Now, some viewers think the growth is responsible for Chen's advanced age, and they're calling it the longevity horn. Doctors, however, say it's a cuteness horn, which is often associated with prolonged sun exposure. Nevertheless, Chen remains in good health and eats healthy, and she has no intention of having the horn removed. Yeah. I have a feeling that this lady will probably have her likeness seen in many Ripley's Believe It or Not museums in the future here.
Yeah, that deserves this.
There you go. I mean, I've been to a Ripley's over in Branson, Missouri, and yes, I have seen statues of a guy who actually did have horns actually growing out of his head. So I think she would fit in just right down there.
Yep. But the longevity horn, it's something new, and maybe she'll go down in the books, you know?
Hey, if she lasts another 8 or 9 years, she'll definitely deserve that title. So there you go. Because
the oldest person right now is 116, and she's also a female as well. I remember
there we go.
They made a big report on it just about a month and a half ago.
Actually, I thought I heard something about her dying, and now the newest oldest person is only 114 years old.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's why I'm saying only 8 or 9 years at this rate instead of like 10.
As soon as they expose the oldest person in the world, that person winds up dying, and now the second youngest after the oldest. Maybe she was like, and they asked her. They said, "What's your secret to longevity?" She says, I take it one day at a time, and I don't stress, and I eat healthy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's got to be some really good genes in her family, you know?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Definitely, because no one could survive 116 years lest there was nothing on their plate to come back to haunt them later.
Right, exactly, yes.
Now for the passing parade. Oh, boy. Social media influencers are on the move and extending their influence to even the most mundane of travel experiences, putting items in a bin for the TSA conveyor.
I saw this last night on the Cold Air Show.
Yeah, Reader's Digest reported on October 28th that people are curating their travel bins. Everything just so, then taking photos to post on the socials and getting reactions such as, I would buy prints of these, and your shoes, oh my God.
Yeah.
TSA spokesperson responded, as long as the staged glamour photos are not causing delays or issues with other passengers in the checkpoint, there are no issues.
Yeah. Now, like I said, Stephen Colbert actually said this about on Wednesday night on his show, and he's this cute little joke. I bet the people behind them would appreciate so much that they would love to stuff them into those little bins, nice and tidy.
Sure, they would.
Yeah.
All right, you got the last one.
Awesome. Okay, Calcia Johnson and Nikia Jackson, who were then students at St. Mary's Academy in New Orleans, just hoped to win the $500 prize where their teacher challenged them to create a new proof of the Pythagorean theorem in 2022. NOLA.com reported on October 29th. Now, back in March 2023, they submitted their work to the American Mathematical Society conference, and, quote, "it went well and it blew up," said Jackson.
Oh,
They were rewarded with a commendation from the Louisiana governor and keys to the city, and their findings were published in American Mathematical Monthly. Since they submitted their proof, they believe they come up with 9 other proofs. And Jackson is now studying pharmacology at Xavier University, and Johnson is pursuing environmental engineering at Louisiana State University.
wow.
Can we say 2 very smart ladies? I'll say that.
Yeah, and to think about it, considering the fact that the Pythagorean theorem has been a theorem for as long as math has been around,
At least several thousand years that I know of. So there you go.
That's true. Well, now it's time to go now to, of course, the archives of the News of the Weird, which, of course, is our next bit here, and then we'll go to your second story.
Sure thing. Let's do these first here, because let's talk about weird of the past.
Yeah, wow. And now we're going to go to August 18th, 1996. That's the third one in the series. And this time you can start off for us later, Scott. So
okay.
Lead story.
Okay, remember, we're talking about 1996, folks. According to a report in the People newspaper in London back in July of 96, British spies who set up high-tech clandestine cameras to gain intelligence on the Irish Republican Army discovered that the cameras also recorded much kinky sex. Woo!
Whoa!
Yeah. Now, the newspaper said the British government is planning to use some sex scenes, including episodes in which IRA leaders have sex with their wives of with the wives of their jailed comrades in an upcoming propaganda campaign. Ooh.
Oh, all right.
See that on the Playboy channel.
True. Or Spice Channel, or
That's right, exactly. Whatever it was, yeah.
Yep. Well, kids lacking quality time, and Brian Smith, age 42, was charged in Cassville, Montana,
Missouri.
Oh, see, I always
MO's Missouri. I knew that one. Yeah.
In July, with locking his 3 kids in the 55-gallon drums during the day while he was at work.
What?
And 50-year-old Jeffrey Hovland pleaded guilty in St. Paul, Minnesota in July to using an electrified dog collar to punish his 2 sons, ages 9 and 11.
Oh, God, no.
Jan and Joyce Duplantis were arrested in New Orleans in June, charged with forcing their 2 female wards, ages 8 and 9, to live outside in a crude playhouse so as not to mess up their apartment.
This is the reason why some people should not have children.
All right.
They can't take care of them. That's what they're okay.
You can read the next 2. Speaking of this.
Okay, well, they're kind of short. They're both happening in June 96.
Yeah.
First of all, in June, the Houston Health and Human Services Department warned of a local diarrhea outbreak caused by cyclospora. The department said 2 clusters of cases have been reported, the first among a group of executives of the natural gas industry meeting at a local club.
Diarrhea.
What happened at that club that night?
Yeah.
Also in June, the Arkansas State Medical Board ordered Waldo, Arkansas family physician Jewel Byron Grimmett, the Jr., to start keeping written records. At a hearing, Grimmett told board members that he has kept all patients' histories, including prescription records, only in his head for the 35 years he's been practicing medicine. Grimmett avoided license revocation because he is Waldo's only doctor, and because, according to him, he treats about half his patients for free. Well, that's the reason why I say, I'll trust this guy. I don't have to pay him in a cent. There you go.
Yep. And I'll take the next 2.
All
right. In March, after the parents of Hong Pin Jen, 27, and Chang Shu Mai, sounds like pork shu mai, 26 of Kaohsiung, Taiwan, Kaohsiung, refuses to bless their wedding, the couple opted for suicide.
Uh-oh.
They drove a car off a cliff, but they survived.
Oh, thank God.
Tried to hang themselves, but survived. And leaped from atop a 12-story building, but survived, landing on an adjacent roof, suffering multiple fractures. In April, the parents reconsidered.
Dude, they were that serious?
What the hell, man? How many times did you got to try to kill yourself only to survival? Maybe it was just not your time to die, you know?
I wonder too, though. And besides, are you guys that serious about your love that you would kill yourselves just to prove that you still loved each other?
Well, and prove to your parents that you love
yeah,
each other.
That's the important thing. Yeah. Especially for the parents, that's the more important thing. There you go.
Now here's a report that's close to my old stomping grounds, JFK Airport. You know, on May 23rd, the bodies of two Dominican Republic nationals were discovered. One near JFK Airport, Long Beach, New York, and the other about 10 miles from Miami, Florida International Airport.
Oh my!
Both had grease marks, and after investigations, police in both places said they believed the men had fallen from the wheel wells of airlines liners, where they had stowed away, hoping for illegal entry into the United States.
Oh no! These guys are that desperate; they would hide in the wheel wells of the planes, and
I would have hid in the luggage, but I would have hid in the luggage, and then be put on the bottom of the plane. At least then I know I'm safe from being cut by the wheel liners.
Among other things. There you go. Exactly. Yep. Okay. Well, 15 New York City police officers were indicted back in July 96, and as many as 700 other city employees were all under investigation for not paying federal taxes. The cops had bought fake legal gibberish documents, about anywhere between $900 and $2,000 each, from scam artists who had convinced them that, despite the fact they were police officers, they could legally claim not to be subject to government jurisdiction. In the document, the officers were non-immigrant, non-residents who are alien to the United States. Oh boy. Well, in each case, the city payroll office unquestioningly accepted the form and did not withhold federal tax, in some cases for up to 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh boy. That's a lot. And I bet you the IRS is going to have a field day when they do finally I
think that's what they did. So, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if and when they ever became citizens, because if that was back in 96, almost 30 years to the date.
Yeah.
Surely enough, they must have got their green cards and now are legal residents. And I would think the IRS would want to talk to them personally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oslo, Norway, police inspector Leif Old Topness admitted in July that our body search techniques aren't good enough. He was commenting on a male prisoner's having been locked up for 2 weeks in the women's jail, despite having been body searched at the Sola airport and then strip searched at the jail. The man was wearing female makeup and had hormone treatment breasts, but Topness admitted that otherwise he was obviously a man and should have been detected as such.
Yep. This is an early case of one of those transgender stories. So there you go.
See, they go back 30, almost 28 years to the date.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, Jeffrey J. Piercioch. I'm going to say that. I'm going to call him Jeffrey. Okay. Who was age 19, and an alleged accomplice were arrested in West Lafayette, Indiana on theft and fraud charges. Jeffrey allegedly cashed checks that he had written with disappearing ink, apparently believing the checks would be blank by the time they were presented to the bank for collection. However, traces of ink remained, and police said that Jeffrey would have a better chance of getting away with it if he had not used checks pre-printed with his name and account number on them. This is a good example of a dumb criminal.
Yeah, the least competent of them all. Yep. All right, I'll take the next two since they're kind of semi-small here.
Yeah, there you go.
April, 19-year-old Edward Lopez and 18-year-old Eric Harb were arrested in Lincolnwood, Illinois, after police were called to a Summit department store. According to a clerk, the two men had approached him and asked politely if he would permit them to pay for clothes with a stolen credit card. Ah, jeez.
Well, they were half honest.
Guess they really just were that desperate to, get that. I guess whatever. We don't see. That's kind of an incomplete article. We really don't know what kind
Yeah,
of clothes they
exactly.
wanted.
Exactly, yeah.
But then in Columbus, Ohio, police arrested 39-year-old Timothy E. Lebo and 32-year-old Charles J. Kinzer around 5 a.m. on June 5th and charged them with ripping an ATM out of a bank's wall and attempting to carry it away in the trunk of their car. Questioned by police, the pair tried to convince officers that the ATM was a washing machine.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to see a washing machine put on the outside wall of a bank here. There you go.
Yeah, that's what they call money laundering. Oh, yep.
All right. Well, in March in Clawson, Michigan, and in January in Federal Way, Washington, parents mistakenly packed cans of Bud Ice beer in their elementary school children's lunch boxes. They said they confused the Bud Ice with a Hawaiian Punch can from Clawson's or a holiday can of Pepsi from the Federal Way. And now, how dark was it that you couldn't see the difference between a can of Bud Light and a Pepsi? I mean,
No, it was Bud Ice, and I drank Bud Ice a lot when I was back in '96, so I know what a can of Bud Ice looks like. They may have changed it a little bit, but yeah, Bud Ice is my favorite beer of all time.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, but the Hawaiian Punch can and the Bud Ice, Scott, they almost look alike. There's a kind of bluish pattern in them.
That makes sense, though. Yeah.
Take the next one.
All right, Ms. Terry Clemon, who was age 42, received several traffic citations and was ticketed for filing a false report after her car rammed two pickup trucks in Belleville, Illinois in July. An apparently serious Clemon steadfastly maintained that her Cocker Spaniel, Mutzy II, had gotten behind the wheel and maneuvered the car into the trucks. Later, she told the Belleville News Democrat that several years ago, the original Mutzy I had driven Clement's friend's car into a tree in New York City.
So Mutzy 2.0 basically just took off from Mutzy 1,
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And finally, although Los Angeles police beating victim Rodney King was convicted in Alhambra, California in July of misdemeanor hit and run for injuring his estranged wife by driving away while her arm was still reaching into his car, he was acquitted on more serious charges, including assault with a deadly weapon. Outside the courtroom, a Triumph King told reporters, "I'm going to Disneyland." Yeah.
Wasn't this the same guy who helped inspire the famous Rodney King riots?
Yeah, it was. Definitely. I mean, for sure,
That's what I was thinking, too. There you go.
Yes, Scott, because in that case, who knew he was going to show up 2 years later and wind up, with his wife with the damn situation with the car, and he says, "I'm going to Disneyland." Yeah, like Super Bowl, you hot dog. Yeah, right.
Yeah, hot dog is right. Yeah.
All right, you're next.
I got one more good weird news story for you guys, and this one comes with a little video. This one is where a bear steals candy and a pumpkin from a Connecticut porch. Here's the footage here of the bear sneaking up to the porch, and he had a sweet tooth there, you can tell. He's looking around the porch. He's looking around. He's thinking, and there's going for the bowl of candy. There he goes. Yeah, there's taking the bowl of candy. There he goes.
With him. Well, that's going to be
he's still taking the bowl of candy. There you go.
I think that's going to be one diabetic bear if I've ever seen one.
Now when they put the lights on, here he is still trying to eat the candy. He's already smashed the pumpkin by now. Yep. Now here's the reason. Here's what's interesting. Crystal Cook shared security camera footage showing this bear taking the bowl of candy as she left out for trick or treaters last week and settled down to enjoy the snack on front of her porch.
Mm.
Brooke told WFSB television the bear, quote, missed the just take one rule.
Yeah.
She said the bear also raided some snacks she leaves out for delivery drivers and ended up taking one of her family pumpkins. Now, in Asheville, North Carolina, a woman's security camera recorded a similar scene in the late lead up to Halloween when a trio of young bears climbed onto her family's porch and feasted on pumpkins.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Oh, wow. Man. That's what they say when they mean, when you're don't paint the pumpkins because the bears and the animals and the paint can get into their literally kill them. So
I
maybe in this
wonder if
case,
also the carving would actually attract them because of the scent from the inside of the pumpkin too, though.
yeah, but I mean, they can eat the pumpkin. It's healthy. It's got antioxidants. But they tell you if you're gonna paint your pumpkin, for next year that is because Halloween is way over now.
We knew that, yeah. But next year,
if you're gonna paint your pumpkin, keep it inside so that way at least the animals don't get to it or anybody else for that matter. And then just carve out the areas where you painted, and the pumpkin still is good because you didn't expose those other areas.
That's right.
Yep. All right. We've got about 20 minutes, so we've got we're going to be going into our next phase, which is the 33 weirdest stuff you can buy, and continue on our look. Now, this goes beyond the 33 that we.
It's more than 33. Yeah, I think they added more than the article came out.
Yep. So let me go ahead and pull up that. Yay! All right. Now, did we do the pimple popping toy?
Yes, yeah, we did this one.
Okay.
But the next one was something new. Yeah.
It's the world's greatest mullets wall calendar. Yeah, there's business in the front and a party every day when you've got the world's greatest mullets wall calendar hanging up. Billy Ray Cyrus will feel his achy, breaky heart breaking a little more with every flip of this monthly calendar. His locks ain't got nothing on these redneck rugs for $20.28.
Wow. Well, you gotta admit the cover guy doesn't look too bad.
Guy looks like he's on a wanted poster,
Yeah, that's true though.
Are you sure it's not the 12 most wanted men with mullets?
Yeah, makes you wonder.
Yeah, right. All right, now. Oh
my God, this is the "You're My National Treasure" heat activated mug. Oh boy. How do you know you found the one? Well, when you're pouring coffee into this mug one morning and the black exterior fades away to reveal our national treasure, Nick Cage, informing you that you are your sweetie's national treasure. Don't steal the Declaration of Independence. Steal someone's heart with this mug. Retail net value $15. Yeah. Now, I'm guessing that the flowers appear after you pour the coffee, but that's my opinion.
I just don't understand why they would use Nicolas Cage's face for that mug. I mean, can you customize the mug to make it look like somebody else?
Well, keep in mind, Nick Cage was actually in the movie series of National Treasure.
Gotcha.
That's the reason why they put him on there. So there you go.
Yep. All right, Scott, it's time for the Licky cat hair brush.
Okay, can we make a picture of this one?
Yes.
Oh, it's a video. Now that's oh gosh. You're laughing your butt off. I'm going to read this one. Getting close to your cat is important to ensure that your cat never tries to kill you in your sleep. Your kitty will surely think of you as mama after just a few sessions with the licky brush. Just put the silicone tongue in your mouth and lick. No hairballs involved. Retail value $25.
Smoke weed every day.
I think after you smoke weed every day, then you can put the licky cat hair brush on it. Scott now you're a cat owner. Do you think it's your best interest that you would use this brush on your kitty?
I use a brush, a good steel brush that gets all the hair out. I would not do this to lick my cat. No, no, where I draw the line.
He does have morals, folks. Yes. Oh, it's over the eyes. Yes, the hills have eyes, and so do the trees, and the bushes, and anything you want, really, because these googly eyes can go anywhere, even your house or your car. They're 7 foot in
7
7
inches.
inches in diameter and have an adhesive back so you can go wild. Retail price $8.99.
Yeah, let's make anything look like it.
Hell out of
There you
me.
go.
You know that would be great if they just put them up on a wall, and the first thing you see is the eyes on the wall. And who the heck?
Yeah. Make sure you have a crack in the bricks there that it makes it look like it's a closed mouth here.
Yeah, or like a split in the split going this way, and the eyes look like they're separating from
that's kind of funny. There you go.
A cracked skull, But that right there, if you put a nose, and a mouth in there, you could probably, you probably could do the same thing if you put the nose and it looked like the biggest chia pet I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. Here.
All right. Okay. Oh, it's the middle child candle.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, oldest kids and youngest kids, but this is the one time ever when someone isn't paying attention to you. Yeah, stay in the limelight because your middle sibling can bask in the very faint of glow of this candle just for middle children. Retail price $26.95.
One thing I like about this label here, I love the label. It says a candle for the middle child, largely invisible scent. Go ahead and dye your hair purple. No one will notice.
Marsha.
Exactly. That's the Jan Brady of candles.
That's right. Okay, that was number 39, and here's number 40. Oh God.
The human skin lampshade. Oh, good Lord. Perfect sound. Yeah, good. Give your home the Hannibal Lecter vibes you crave with a lampshade that looks like something he would have made.
Yep.
The cannibal-inspired lamp looks extremely realistic thanks to its handmade creation and casts a murderous glow on any room it's positioned in. Retail value $170.
Probably one of the greatest things to buy for next Halloween, right, Scott?
Yeah. Or for that serial killer in your life.
Thank you, Jack Kevorkian. Next up is the world's smallest Magic the Gathering deck.
Now, this is cute. No, I like this idea.
Yeah. You can read this one.
Oh, yeah. Show that you're the true master of Magic the Gathering by playing on a deck so small you'll need a spell of magnification to see the words. This is the world's smallest MTG deck, and it's 100% playable. So tap your mana and kick some ass. Retail value $29.99.
You ever played the game?
Years and years ago, I did try to play it a little bit, but I have really grown out of it the past several years, unfortunately. So
I've seen it. I've seen people playing it, but I never seen them play it this small before.
Nothing small either, though. No.
And there's stuff.
The only thing that sucks about this, there's only one thing I can say that will suck about this. Since Magic the Gathering is a game where you try to get new cards in all the time to build up your deck, if you try putting in regular cards, they'll know which ones are the small ones and which ones are the ones you put in. So come on.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's see. Oh, here's the 40-pound wheel of cheese.
There you go. For our Wisconsin friends.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there's people who don't think that there's anything as too much cheese will think that this is probably just enough cheese. There are 40 pounds of it. It comes in a wheel and is 100% certified Parmesan Reggiano, just ripe for eating. Retail value $669.
Yeah. Is nice.
I've seen this in restaurants where they cut a hole in a bowl, and they take the hot pasta and they put the pasta into the cheese, and it makes a cheese cream sauce.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And it's fresh, and then they serve it right at your table. They do a whole show with this.
Yes, I've also found out, if I'm right, there's a place. I think it was a place in I think Ohio or something like that. It was it's a grocery store called Jungle Gyms.
Oh yeah.
They always have was basically the world's largest piece of cheese inside a beautiful refrigerator box. And I swear that sucker is quite a bit larger than this wheel of cheese.
And they also have too, probably I've seen like in actual chocolate candy stores, real retro candy stores,
Yeah.
the biggest Hershey Kisses, the biggest Reese's peanut butter cups, and the biggest giant Hershey bars you could
Among
possibly.
other things.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and it's real chocolate. I mean, they make them
Yeah.
for those limited edition stuff, and
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I can believe it though. Yeah.
All right, and if that don't tickle your fancy, here are 120 mini plastic babies.
Okay, a baby shower seems like too cliche of an occasion to break out the 120 plastic babies in this bag. You could leave them all over town in random spots. Heck, you could put them all out inside one king cake. You can even see how high you can stack them. See, they're versatile. They're versatile. $9.99.
Well, that's almost like Children of the Corn or the people under the stairs, you know.
So like that, yeah.
Put them in obscure places, you know.
Well, considering that there are people who put rubber ducks around cruise ships, this is not surprising.
Yeah, there is a symbolism behind the rubber ducks in the cars, you know, in the Jeeps.
Yeah, among other things, yeah.
I don't know the symbolism of it, but there is actually an article that was written about it, and there is some kind of meaning behind it. Maybe we'll delve into that next week, you know.
Yeah, I do know about the king cake here. The reason why they say, that they always put a little baby inside, it's supposed to be representing baby Jesus inside the cake. If you got that slice with the baby in it, you were supposed to have super good luck that year.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, well, what if you wind up with a wise man? Then what happens? A whole nativity scene put in the cake, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine that. Hey, I got a Joseph. I got a camel.
Hey, I got a sheep, man.
No, it's that stolen sheep from the earlier.
Hey, who's the guy who got the donkey? The jackass over there in the corner.
Yeah.
And finally,
Oh dear.
hyper realistic baby masks.
Oh yeah. I really see it. Oh boy.
Who would want to own such an oddity? Who knows? But we must admit, it looks quite dashing when paired on a set of six-pack abs. Retail price $350.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was number 44, and
I think there's more, but we'll just save some for later.
oh my god! Who the heck, first of all, would want that particular baby face?
I don't know, but there's some other ones out there. I can tell though. So yeah,
That looks like just one poor, disgraceful man
yeah,
with a baby face. It looks like Babyface Nelson.
kind of, yeah.
Who knows? But that's it for now. And next week we'll look at number 45 and continue on here. That's pretty good, you know. Oh, always get a laugh out of those, Scott. But again, it was only going to stop at 33, and we've gone on beyond that. Yeah, we looked at 11 tonight, and you'll have two more great articles next week. And I think what we'll do is we'll take a look at that the symbolism behind that the ducks in the car, you know, the Jeep.
Yeah. Well, I know they had the ducks in the cruise ship, so that's another thing right there too, though.
Yeah. But maybe next week we'll look at that and some other great stuff. And hey, you know, we won't tell you what our color of the week will be next week, but
you don't know yet.
No, we usually figure out when we're finishing up Wipe Those Tears, like at the the night before.
Usually,
yeah. But do keep those comments coming, and like I said, thank you very much, of course, for all the great views of the show, and of course, we'll see you next week. And from all of us here at Saturdaze with Mcvay and Jay, thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Dustin.
Yep. Have a great night, guys, because like I said, be honest, be real, and keep it simple, stupid. Kiss.
Kiss
Good
time.
night and goodbye.